So let's do the chanting straight away. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, tudayambi buddham saranam gacchami, tudayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, tudayambi sangham saranam gacchami, tadayambi buddham saranam gacchami, tadayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, Tadayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the 6 paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from their happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess and repent all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Buddhiswam. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Buddhiswam. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Buddhiswam. So now get yourself nice and comfortable for some meditation practice. Initially, as per usual, we will release the tension from the body. So gently close your eyes, lips gently touching, tongue resting on the upper palate inside the mouth, and breathing in your nose all the way into your lungs, back out your nose again, and focusing on different areas in the body, and then releasing the tension if there's any tension from those areas. So release the tension from all around your feet. And your lower legs. All around your knees. And your upper legs. And around your midsection. Work your way up now, your back, sides, stomach, working your way up towards the shoulders to releasing the tension as you focus on different areas as mentioned. So the lower part, middle part, the upper part. From your neck to your shoulders. And then down your arms, eventually to the tips of your fingers. And then from all around your neck. And your head, the back and the sides, all around your face. And finally, the crown of your head. I'll spend a brief moment to see if there's any more tension, and if there is still leftover tension, then release it. And when you are ready, bring your focus initially to the tip of your nose. The object of the meditation, as per usual, is the breath, or the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs, back out your nose again. Continue this process, following the feeling of the breath. Anapanasati. Anapana means the breath or the breathing process. Sati means mindfulness. So mindfulness of the breath. There are another 40 different things, physical things that you can focus on with your mind. The meditation as enumerated by the Buddha. But the breath, I think, is the most common and maybe the best. It is said that on the Buddha's night of enlightenment, that he focused on the breath initially. It also has the tendency to bring the mind inside the body. And if we really are a thoughtful person, then even if we're not totally wise yet, it should be very obvious that breathing is the most important physical thing that we do moment to moment. And therefore, we can't get bored of focusing on the breath. Like so many people I know, I've heard say in the past, it's boring focusing on the breath. Well, that's not the case, is it? How can it be boring? All of the other so-called exciting things wouldn't happen if we didn't breathe. A painter would never have a painting if it wasn't for the surface he's painting on. And I'll remind you of the story. Shaolin master who was looking for the next abbot of the temple picked out a young guy. I won't give you the whole story, just the punchline, really. Anyway, this young guy, after some period of time being told to just meditate, he said to the master, I'm bored of focusing on my breath. The master grabbed him by the scruff of the neck, took him down to the river, and put his head under the water until just before he passed out. And he pulled his head out and said, are you bored of your breath now? Tough love. It is said that at that moment that young monk had what we call enlightenment moment, or a realization, epiphany. Another metaphor I can use is another one is all the bells going off in the mind, finally waking up. And this comes from meditation practice. Wisdom, realizations arise due to meditation that is based on morality. And of course, we have to create the good conditions too by practicing compassion, having the bodhicitta intention, so on. Okay. But meditation is essential on the path to enlightenment. So you're breathing in, you're breathing out. If thoughts arise or any mental activity arises, don't cling to it or grasp at it. Don't try to force it away either or deny it. It's simply replace your mind back onto your breath and let the thoughts and so forth go. They don't ultimately exist anyway. Therefore, they can melt away as we refocus on the breath. And if your mind becomes dull or sleepy, wake it up a little by refocusing on the breath more brightly. You may also like to add the extra technique to help you keep focused on the breath, and that is counting the breaths from 1 up to 10. Don't count past 10, for we don't want the counting to become the focus. The breath is the focus. 1 in-breath, 1 out-breath is 1, and so on. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. So breathing in and breathing out. Don't try too much, don't try too little. Walk the middle path. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel very pleased with ourselves and fill our whole being with the white light representing universal loving kindness. Mahamitta, Mahamaitri. Remember to have the feeling of loving kindness. Very important. Not just through the visualization. Visualization can help you to have this feeling of universal loving kindness, of appreciation, respect, and gratitude, kindness, non-violence, harmlessness, and so on. Also includes forgiveness, and putting things down, just letting things be as they are. Past is gone, future never arises. The present is fleeting. Fill yourself with so much universal loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards, initially to your loved ones, family, and friends. Fills them with the white light, so the white light leaves your heart center. You remain full of the white light. Doesn't diminish, increases. It's immeasurable. So the white light leaves your heart center, the universal love or loving kindness, and enters into the heart centers of your loved ones in front of you. Fills them with the universal loving kindness too. Have the wish that they are happy, free from suffering, and are peaceful. Now also include strangers, and do likewise. And also those you may regard as enemies, and do likewise. As you radiate this universal loving kindness, your mind should become gentler, more open. You're letting go of any thoughts of anger or hatred. You also have a patient mind, able to deal with anything, including difficulties during meditation practice. It happens sometimes. So now let's radiate this universal loving kindness out further and further distance-wise to now include all sentient beings, initially around your immediate area. All of the sentient beings that live on the land, under the land, in the waters, fly through the air, whether you know about them or not, whether you can see them or not, whether they were born from eggs or wombs or moisture or through transformation. May they all be happy, free from suffering, and be peaceful. So this white light enters into their heart centers, fills their whole being with the universal loving kindness. Now extend and radiate the loving kindness throughout your whole state or county. And all of the states and counties throughout your country. And all of the countries throughout the world. Those you have an affinity towards, those that you are indifferent towards, as well as those you may have some negative feelings towards. And have your loving kindness pervade throughout all of the oceans and other bodies of water, all the way down to the core of the earth, to the outermost atmosphere. And have your loving kindness pervade throughout the whole solar system. And galaxy. and universe and beyond, till your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space, whilst also being present here and now to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious body, Chitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. So we are having commentary on my article, Meditation and its Benefits, Getting to Know Your Mind. And we're just starting the commentary now, really. Last 2 weeks we had some introduction where I read the article. First week about 2/3 of it, last week about 1/3 of it, and explained a little bit about the background of it and why I wrote it. Maybe I've neglected to mention that there is some practice, as you probably recognize. There's some practice in there as well. And so it's giving some details, the article, of all of the Dharma teachings. Some not much details, just a little bit, and the other ones a little bit more. That's why we can do commentary on it, because I can expand upon these things. And also it's, you could say, an exhortation to practice. So to really encourage people to practice meditation. As I said earlier, it's essential on the Dhamma path, but also the other aspects as well. So I could have just kept it to either meditation instructions or just explained very sort of surface-wise on like the title, Meditation and Its Benefits, in other words, the benefits of meditation, without going too deep. But I decided just to do the middle path, There is another article that a shorter one that I wrote called The Benefits of Meditation, or What Are the Benefits of Meditation, put in question form, the heading there. And that's probably a little bit more detail. And then there was another one that I split up into shorter teachings that was relating to, healing the mind and whatever. So there's a few around, though this is the most widely spread one. Okay, so the heading is Meditation and Its Benefits, Getting to Know Your Mind. And like I mentioned the last few weeks, that getting to know your mind, you could say, is the most obvious benefit, because we get to look, when we practice meditation, we get to calm the mind, clear the mind, and we can get to know the mind better. And then, what to do, what not to do, and things like that in our everyday life. We can implement good things, abandon bad things, to put it simply. And if we're without meditation, we can't really, really clearly look in the mind. Our mind is so often distracted. And as mentioned previously, we are attracted to these distractions, or I should say attached to these distractions, because we don't want to look in the mind. It's not our habit to do so. And as mentioned before, sometimes with meditation, people think it's boring and focusing on the breath, but also boring looking in the mind, things like that. Prefer to go on a roller coaster ride, excuse me. A bit of fluff, itchy. So I kind of had a look at this article after the class last week, and I figured that we'd probably do one paragraph per class. I can't remember now how many paragraphs there are. But of course, if there's if a couple of paragraphs or even a few paragraphs in a row related to the same thing, then I will include them all in the one class, and maybe have to split up some other paragraphs, larger ones, maybe into a few classes or something. But as it looks at the moment, about one paragraph per class, and that makes it easier for me, doesn't it? I don't have to scribble on my pages all the time. I just know where I'm up to. All right, so let's have a look at this The first paragraph says, imagine if the whole world practiced meditation. If everybody in the world had the opportunity to get to know their mind, to clearly perceive the wholesome mental qualities that need to be adopted, nurtured, and perfected, as well as the unwholesome mental afflictions that need to be relinquished and eradicated, and then implemented the invaluable meditation methods taught by the Buddha. I think that you may agree that all wars and conflicts would be pacified, and peace and understanding would pervade the world. As His Holiness, the Dalai Lama says, if every 8-year-old in the world is taught meditation, we will eliminate violence from the world within 1 generation. Maybe I'll have a look at that first, because it's a very well-known statement of his. And you think about that, yes, sometimes beings are born with such negative karma, or let's say human beings, in this case, such negative karma. Maybe they've created the habit of doing evil things previous life, but are still born as a human because there's some good that they have created in the past too. So maybe the child, can be very evil right from the beginning, but generally it's learned behavior, isn't it? And even if they have, or they do have such evil mind, I keep using that word, but right from birth, maybe they can be trained away from it. Maybe they can be shown by parents or teachers or whatever, or whoever, there's a better way that brings happiness, So basically the Dalai Lama is saying, sort of guessing 8-year-old, you probably learned a lot of traits, learned behavior during that life already. What's that, 365 days with a leap year in there as well. And I'm not going to try to do the mathematics, but basically, say 3,000 days of living and learning, And so if this 8-year-old has learned to do meditation and practices meditation, then they are going to, at very least, have the opportunity to calm their mind. Oh, what I've got here. Maybe it's a long nose hair or something that I didn't see. I see, it's kind of itchy. But anyway, so excuse me, I'm not picking my nose. But yes, this 8-year-old, around about that age, if they practice meditation, get to know their mind, and as mentioned in this paragraph, get to know the good qualities, increase them, and so on, decrease the faults, then they're going to have at least the opportunity to improve all the time. They're going to be more peaceful. They're going to be more wise, more at least appreciative of others. Maybe they don't know yet compassion, love, and so on, but at least they're going to be considerate more. And they're not going to fight with others. So if it's a real, what's the word, idealistic way of thinking, isn't it? But if every 8-year-old in the world, doesn't matter what type of, what language they speak, what country they come from, what so-called philosophy or religion they follow or practice, what their parents do. If every 8-year-old, there will be no wars. They're not going to go off into armies. They probably go off into a temple or another establishment of other religions. There's going to be at least less wars. And so, as the Dalai Lama says, if every 8-year-old in the world is taught meditation, we will eliminate violence from the world within 1 generation. So not just wars, but any sort of violence. No assaulting, no sexual misconduct. There will be no fighting, no destroying the planet. So, yeah, when I come across that statement, I'd heard it before, but I saw it not long after I first joined Facebook, which was in 2014. I saw it up there, with a picture of a child meditating, Western child, and shared it. So now I can go back here. And just prior to that, I said, imagine, if the world, imagine if the whole world practiced meditation. So if every 8-year-old in the world and everybody, young, middle, old, if they practice meditation, wouldn't that be wonderful? I think, I say, if everybody has the opportunity to get to know their mind, I think we may agree that all wars and conflicts would be pacified, and peace and understanding would pervade the world. So I'm basically expanding upon what the Dalai Lama has said. So you could say that that quote from the Dalai Lama inspired the way I started this article. Imagine if the whole world practiced meditation. If everybody in the world had the opportunity to get to know their mind, because that's one of the benefits of practicing meditation, is getting to know the mind. To clearly perceive the wholesome mental qualities that need to be adopted, nurtured, and perfected. So the wholesome mental qualities, such as wisdom, compassion, love and kindness, empathy and joy, equanimity. The 6 paramitas: generosity, morality, patience, effort, enthusiasm, concentration, and so on. And all of the good qualities that these lead to. Imagine if all of them would have the opportunity to perceive these good qualities and then adopt them if they don't have them already. Or if they do have them, then, first of all, adopt them if they don't have them. If they already have them, protect them, and then nurture them. Practice the Dharma continually, and then eventually perfect them. As you know, the paramitas really means transcendental perfections, beyond dualism, beyond conceptualization. And as well as the unwholesome mental afflictions that need to be relinquished and eradicated. So the mental afflictions that arise from the 3 poisons of ignorance, attachment, and aversion, and also pride, arrogance, and uncertainty, and doubting the teacher, the teachings, yourself, and having wrong views, and all of the other mental afflictions that come from these, such as haughtiness, such as a lack of moral shame, such as lack of a fear of unwholesomeness. In other words, not protecting your mind from having these negative emotions and negative afflictions arise and become prevalent in your life. If we don't adopt the good mental qualities that can supersede these, overcome these negatives, then they will overwhelm you eventually. Just as I mentioned, like the weeds in the garden, eventually become overwhelming. I share with you, I've actually finally, first time in probably half a year, I reckon, that the veggie garden, which is 4 raised beds that are sort of rise, maybe about 1 meter high, or maybe 2 feet high, and they actually, I forgot what they were called then. And then finally, they're free from weeds. So I'm ready to plant some tomatoes and ready to plant some chilies. And what else is there? Lettuces, things like that. Just thought I'd share that with you. In the garden, we've already got a lot of leeks and mint, basil, and rocket lettuce, rhubarb. There's still, I think, the bell pepper or capsicums are going to regrow again this summer. Hopefully we've got 2 plants in there that they will. So I digress slightly. But yeah, the weeds out. So relaxing. The weeds in the mind out. Very relaxing then. Have good qualities. Know these good qualities. Increase them. Overcome the negative qualities. so they don't overwhelm you like the weeds in the garden. So everybody will get to know what they need to do, what they need to pick up, what they need to put down or adopt and abandon mentally. And then, of course, following through with our actions and our words as well. And then also getting to know the meditation methods taught by the Buddha, such as that we do at the start of class, develop concentration, that we're doing for time. Samadhi meditation, or you could say samatha meditation, calm abiding meditation, focusing on the breath, loving kindness, to develop loving kindness, and so on. Okay, all of the different methods that the Buddha taught. He taught them according to our own needs, and abilities. And so many of them get to know these qualities. So you can choose what to practice. You can choose how much to practice, So once again, I will read that paragraph to you. Hopefully I've explained a little bit. I was going to go a bit deeper today with this one, but I noticed that the following paragraphs mention these. So I thought maybe just keep it simple. Imagine if the whole world practiced meditation, if everybody in the world had the opportunity to get to know their mind, to clearly perceive the wholesome mental qualities that need to be adopted and nurtured and perfected, as well as the unwholesome mental afflictions that need to be relinquished and eradicated, and then implemented the invaluable meditation methods taught by the Buddha, I think you may agree that all wars and conflicts would be pacified and peace and understanding would pervade the world. As His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, if every 8-year-old in the world is taught meditation, we will eliminate violence from the world within one generation. So let's do that. I rejoice in your goodness. As always, have a lovely day ahead or evening ahead. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Practice well. Look after